This week was supposed to be about Michael Jordan turning 50 years old. Instead, while we have seen some coverage of Michael Jordan's 50th birthday, it's been more about LeBron James' ascension to the level where everyone is finally acknowledging that he truly is an all-time great. I'm not making this video because I need ratings or I'm trying to be a shock job or I need attention. I don't need that. I have a pretty successful channel here if you haven't noticed by now, and if you don't like the channel, then that's just kind of too bad. I'm making this video because LeBron James is setting himself up to ultimately be in the discussion of the top 5 players of all time and maybe even the greatest player of all time if he can string together some more seasons like he is right now. Now, that's not going to be an easy task, but what LeBron James has done this season, what he did last season, that wasn't an easy task either, and he accomplished it. It's kind of funny to me because after the decision, I was one of the few people in the sports world to understand that, yeah, the decision was stupid, and I wanted to see LeBron James stay in Cleveland, but LeBron James was still not even at his peak yet, and I don't know if he's at his peak yet or not, peak now or not. I think he is, but I don't know that for sure. And I knew that the best was yet to come and that he was going to be an all-time great. I felt like this is a top 10 guy we're going to look at. That was prior to the finals collapse. That was prior to the no-ring king drama. And I got killed for, even after that, when I said he choked, I certainly didn't act like he didn't choke. But I said that this is still a guy who's going to win multiple championships. He's still a guy who's going to win multiple more MVPs and be a top 10, maybe even top 5 player before it's all said and done. A year later, I'm looking pretty smart. LeBron James has a ring, a finals MVP, and he's the holder of one of the most successful individual seasons in basketball history, not only from an NBA perspective, but also from a United States perspective. And it's funny because LeBron James is absolutely destroying what he did last year. And I'm not saying that because he has 6 straight games of 30-plus points and 60% shooting, and because he beat Kobe Bryant on a nationally televised game and everyone's overreacting. I'm not saying that because of that. Yeah, this is one of the greatest runs ever. Yeah, he beat one of the best players in NBA history in Kobe Bryant on a nationally televised game this past Sunday. But that's just over the course of about 2 weeks. What LeBron is doing for me to even seriously make this video and have this discussion is he's becoming the most dominant player that I've ever seen in my lifetime. Now, I've gone back and I've watched Michael Jordan, I've watched Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kareem Wilt, all the NBA legends, Elgin, Baylor, Jerry West, the list goes on. Tim Duncan's played in my lifetime, Hakeem, anyone, David Robinson. I've gone back and I've watched all those people. So don't tell me I don't know the history just because I'm younger, because I've gone back and studied it. But in my lifetime, I've seen players like Kobe Bryant, like Shaq, like Allen Iverson, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan. And what LeBron James is doing, it almost makes some of these guys just seem like they're really good players, but LeBron James just, what he's doing right now is in a different class than the best seasons that those guys had. What is he doing that's more dominant? He's excelling at all facets of the game. He's almost become a perfect player. Not just because he has a ring now, not just because he won the U.S. another gold last year, not because of that. Not just on offense, not just on defense, and for that matter, not just in one spot on defense. But LeBron James is averaging 27 points per game, shooting nearly 57%. That is off the charts. Here's a guy that came in the league, people said he couldn't shoot, he shot 41% the first season of his NBA career. He really was not a very effective, efficient player early on in his career, and every season since then, his shooting percentage has gone up and up and up and up. And last year I thought he kind of peaked out at 54, and that's where he'd be for a while. And now he's at 57%. 57, and we're in February. We're at the All-Star break. Kobe Bryant is averaging about the same amount of points. LeBron James is averaging 27.1 points per game. With this recent success, Kobe Bryant is averaging 27 points on the dot. They're averaging the same amount of points per game. LeBron James is shooting 57%, and Kobe Bryant is shooting 46. And Kobe Bryant, that's an improvement over what he did last year. I'm not stating that to hate on Kobe, who has become a more efficient player this year, but I'm just trying to put things in perspective. Michael Jordan never shot higher in his career than 53%. And I know he shot more, and he played a different role in his team. I understand that. He didn't play the same position. I get that. But realistically, if LeBron James shot as much as Kobe Bryant did, he would be averaging close to 35 points per game. He might not be quite as efficient, but if he was anywhere near that efficiency, he would be close to 35 points per game. And Michael Jordan did that at least once in his career in the late 80s, and I think he might have done it twice. And that's just something I look at. When people try and tell me Kobe Bryant's better than Michael Jordan, I can just simply say Michael Jordan averaged that amount of points shooting in the high 40s or even in close to 50% shooting. And that's almost the end of the argument. LeBron James isn't doing that, but what he's doing is he's making up for that, because LeBron James realistically could do that. But he's instead stepping back and playing every facet of the game. He knows what he's doing out there, because he looks like he's on a different level, not only physically, we've known that for years now, but mentally, he knows what he's doing, and other guys don't have a clue. You can watch tape, you can do anything, and there's just not a way right now to stop what he's doing. He's doing the 27 points per game at 56% while adding in nearly 7 assists per game. He's doing those two things while shooting over 42% from beyond the arc, which is higher than the average of Ray Allen, his career average, which is about 40%, and Ray Allen is considered the greatest three-point shooter in NBA history. He's doing that while grabbing over 8 rebounds a game, which he's big. You know, he's going to get rebounds. He's a force out there. But if you think about where LeBron James is playing defensively, a lot of times you will see him guard the offensive guy. Or, obviously he's guarding the offensive guy. You will see him guard the point guard. So it's not like he's standing underneath the hoop and it just happens to bounce to him. Obviously that happens sometimes, but there's more to it than just that. He is getting in the right position, boxing out, making the right plays, and defensively, he's shutting guys down. Not just the point guards, not just the shooting guards. He can defend a small forward, a power forward, and a center. And I think from watching Michael Jordan, he's a better one-on-one defender. If I had to put Michael Jordan against a guy like, let me say, Chris Paul, then yeah, give me Michael Jordan over LeBron James defensively. But the one thing that we don't take into account with that is that Michael Jordan could not, I don't believe that Michael Jordan could go down and defend some of the bigger type of guys that LeBron James has done over the past year. I don't believe that. And I think that versatility, that says something about what LeBron James has become. I think what we're realizing is that Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, and I believe he'll remain that. I've been strong on saying that in this entire time that I've done this show, and I think that people that are saying, well, he has a ring and he's playing good right now, so he's in the class of Michael Jordan, that's not the right reason to be having this discussion. But I think what we're realizing is Michael Jordan will probably be the greatest player of all time because he got to his dominance much earlier than LeBron James did in his career. He had a shorter career than LeBron will end up having. LeBron will smash him in terms of career numbers and points and pretty much every statistical category because he's going to end up playing longer. LeBron James could probably play till he's 39, 40. That's what Shaq did. That's what a lot of NBA legends end up doing because teams still want them to play and they can continue to add on to their legacies. But right now, LeBron James is starting to make us realize that maybe he truly is just a better overall player than legends like Magic Johnson, legends like Larry Bird. And it bothers me when people just pass them over, when people talk about, oh, Kobe versus Jordan, when I think Kobe's an all-time great, but I'm not sure he's better than Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. And it bothers me when people do that. But when I watch them, I truly believe, at least right now, and by the time it's all said and done, LeBron James may go down as a better individual player than both of those guys. And I've gone back and watched tons of games from that era, so don't say my opinion's irrelevant because it didn't happen in my lifetime. And truly to me, LeBron James is opening up the Michael Jordan comparison. Because not just simply because he's playing like a legend. With all due respect to Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, a healthy Derrick Rose, and all those guys, LeBron James looks like he is hands down the best player and that this is his league right now. And I know that people have grouped Kevin Durant there, and I did too last year. But since last year, since Game 2 of the NBA Finals, LeBron James has separated himself, in my mind, from Kevin Durant because of what he ultimately does as an all-around player. If the voters don't get LeBron fatigue, he will run away with his 4th MVP, and he's going to be 28 years old at the end of this season. He could win a 5th MVP next year before he's 30 years old. He has a ring, and at this point, one of the things I've noticed is he's playing, just everything is working. The only thing I can pick apart about his game is his inability to improve at the free throw line. That's the only negative part right now that I can find about LeBron James. His jumper, which has never really been what you would call wet. He doesn't have a wet jumper. LeBron James will hit the rim and it'll go in. Kevin Durant has a wet jumper. LeBron James has never had that, but he's getting a lot closer to having that. He's swishing the ball a lot more, and that's how you can tell when a guy's becoming a better shooter. He's picking his spots better. He just sits back, and it's like he's in a different world. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm on LeBron's dick. That's not what I'm trying to sound like, but that's what I truly see when I'm watching LeBron James, is that he sees something different out there. He is on a next level, not only physically, but mentally. And he's someone that, right now, he's making that Heat team a championship team. Dwayne Wade is still an all-time great. Chris Bosh has been a very, very good player, at times great player. But LeBron James is what makes that an NBA Finals team. Without LeBron James last year, that team doesn't get out of the second round. He has a ring instead, and he ultimately looks like, to me, someone who will win at least 3 or 4. If he doesn't win 6, does that mean he's not as good as Jordan? No, it does not. If he does win 6, does that mean he's as good as Jordan? Not necessarily. And if he somehow gets to 7, is he better than Jordan? Maybe, but it won't be singularly because of the amount of rings. Rings are the icing on the cake. They're not the only thing, and sports fans who sit back and tell you, well, LeBron has 1 ring, so he sucks. No. Robert Horry has 7 rings, and Robert Horry is not better than Michael Jordan. Bill Russell has 11 rings. Bill Russell is probably one of the top 10 players of all time, but he's not better than a guy like Michael Jordan. He's not better than Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, Hakeem Olajuwon. The list goes on. He's not better than those guys. And to me, LeBron James is making his case as one of the greatest ever, not because now he has a ring, and when it's all said and done, we'll ultimately see where he ranks, but the individual performance is where you talk about, or is what you talk about when you're making this list. Not the amount of rings that he won collectively with his team, even though clearly he is the best player. Clearly Michael Jordan was the best player. Clearly for 2 of those titles, Kobe Bryant was the best player on his team. It's not just about the amount of rings that you win. That's a flawed ideal because so much more goes into it. My guess is that ultimately he'll be top 5. He won't be as good as Jordan. But if LeBron James finishes and he's the second best player of all time, at this point I wouldn't be surprised. And when people said that coming into this year, I felt like it was wishful thinking. But damn, I'm making this video now realistically. Last year I made a video comparing Jordan and LeBron and said that, maybe it's not as far off as people think, but LeBron's not going to be as good as Jordan. Right now, making this video is not blasphemous at all in my mind to have this comparison. And that tells you something. We're watching one of the best seasons ever by one of the best ever, and it's time to sit back, enjoy it, stop with the BS, enjoy this season, because we're seeing one of the best players in NBA history right now.